Hi, I'm David Dutton, and this is Kill Phil. So last week we killed Phil again, but not my fault. He could have shielded himself with many other things than a gas can. Next week we'll be working on our first video game gun from Half-Life 2. Can you guess what weapon it is? I'll give you a clue. It doesn't require ammunition. In fact, the world around you is this weapon's ammunition. Today, we're going to head back to Nascent Perspective Studios and watch Jesse Clarkson's full build of the Zorg ZF1. So, come on. Day one, you had to hunt for all those pieces from the guts of the gun, right?
Right.
So, was that your biggest challenge?
I think the hardest part was we really had to kind of find everything and put it all together before we could actually start assembling the gun. Obviously here we've got a nose cone from a model rocket.
Yep.
This looks like a pneumatic fitting. We've got double fittings here and here. All these brackets here, I think we can probably, if we can't find them in a model shop, we can make them ourselves. I might have some stuff laying around, but it's really just styrene.
Yeah, we can drill
some holes
through
in it.
And the main gun barrel here, that cylinder, it almost looks like it's a paint can top that we can drill a hole in the end of it.
I mean, from this angle, this gold tip right here almost looks like just like a syringe.
Yeah, it does.
You know, with gold paint on it. We can pick up some little pistons as well, some little shock absorbers from some RC cars. I mean, we have to go get the nose cone for the model rocket anyway. You know, everything on there had a certain place it needed to go, but we needed to get all the pieces together first before we built the inner frame for that. I think a lot of this stuff can be like hobby shop, Home Depot.
This is the fun stuff. When you get to like just walk through the store, you just look and you're picking pieces up. Does that fit? I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe it does. That looks good.
Tim and I have been working together for years. He's a mechanical engineer out of Georgia. He pretty much travels all around right now. Anytime I need help, he comes into town and works with us. On this, he was really great as far as getting the structure, the inside guts of the gun figured out, of where we need to go, what's structural, what's going to hold together. Of course,
creating the red button.
And the red button as well. We've got that red button, which I'd like to get it to light.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be nice if it illuminates when we push the button. Otherwise, if it's just illuminated, it would be fine. Did you notice if there was any other lights besides? I mean, obviously, we've got to have that red light on there. That's such a main function of it.
The only light that I saw is, it was kind of moving back and forth like Kit from...
the Knight Rider, like dot matrix, old school thing. I'm concerned about making that pop out. If I carve the body out of foam, we get that vacuum formed. Obviously, we'll do it in the open position. It's going to make it a lot easier, unless you want to try and make it pop open.
We can make the top, maybe, possibly.
Timothy and I had actually talked about making the top pop out. Given our inner structure, we had to build another structure. We managed to find a spring-loaded hinge that would have been great, but we kind of left it at the first stage when he first opens the gun. We kind of just called it off there. Didn't want to overcomplicate things. I'm really into the realism and the fact that all of that stuff unfolds from one gun. You know, the fact that, where do they hold the gas that shoots the giant flamethrower? Where does that giant net fit? So for me, there would have been things that I would have done differently, but the brilliant thing about it is that, it's movie magic. You can make people believe anything. All this stuff in here is pretty straightforward, I think. The hardest part is really just going to be getting our overall shape.
You carve that out of foam, and we'll come up with the inner structure to add the two pieces together.
Quick and dirty.
Yeah, it's going to be easy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I'll grab some foam and start carving. So what we have here is urethane foam. It's very similar to what they use for florists, for sticking flowers and stuff like that. So you can see it's pretty small. Carve it by your hand pretty much. Some of my tools that I use are something as simple as Sureforms, knives, pretty much anything you can use to cut, shape. One of my favorite tools is actually called a curry comb. This you can actually get from a tack shop or supply store. That way you can do nice curved edges without leaving a line. So we've kind of worked our way through it a little bit now. We've managed to dig through and locate a lot of these parts that we needed. Tim just got back from Home Depot. Tim, you want to go ahead and pull out some of those parts and see what we've got?
I found this benzematic torch.
That's our practical flamethrower.
Yeah. They use that same piece, and it's the exact same thing.
How do we do with these round things?
That was the hardest thing because it looks like they're kind of concave. I got these reducing flanges that's used in the electrical at Home Depot again. It looks like it's going to work. That's probably, what was that, for the net maybe?
I think it was for the net.
This I found, but it's probably the hardest thing to find. It's a fountain head that you would use like in golf courses or ponds,
Okay.
and then the rest of this, all these linkages and all those parts will be at the hobby shop.
Well, as you saw, we went to a couple of different hobby shops. You know, different places carry different things. So we're just kind of hunting around for the first couple of days. They've got loads of stuff in here. You want to start on one end and I'll start on the other.
Hey, check this out. That looks like the piece for the ring, remember?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, for what we're doing, I think it's definitely close enough. It's better than what we have so far.
Piston locking tool. Check that out. Look at that.
Oh, nice. That's dead on.
Look at that. It's like a match made in heaven.
Part of the issue that we've had with this is actually finding our scale. Every reference picture we found is actually in perspective, which obviously makes the prop look cooler. In our case, it's really hard to do because we can't find a flat left to right to exactly figure out how big the gun is. Luckily, we figured out that this rocket here is an SD's bullpup rocket. So that is actually a fairly common rocket. So once we have that, from there we'll be able to scale off and figure out exactly what everything else is. Oh yeah, let's see what they have in the rockets. They're right back over here. Also, they have the blue paint. If we paint this over the metal, it'll give us that illusion of anodized aluminum instead of being like an opaque paint. It gives us that clear paint look. As a model maker, I actually keep a bin of just interesting parts that I come across. I don't even know what these things are. They're just interesting pieces that I've found, parts of hardware. We've got 2 of these.
That's good.
We might be able to dig through some of this stuff and see. In here we've got all kinds of just weird odds and ends, since we might be able to put into the gun. I think a lot of this stuff will work out really well. I guess our next step is go ahead and take apart the torch.
Yep.
If you want to get that disassembled.
So here's the piece that we have, and there's your flamethrower right there.
For our barrel, we're just going to use a piece of PVC pipe. We had a piece of Sintra. It's the same thing as this, but it's actually made in a sheet. We'll cut it out, cap it. Use some Bondo auto body filler to fill it in to make it smoothed out and finish it from there. After a long night, we're here with our almost completed Zorg ZF1 blaster. We've got a few more odds and ends here to add to it. We've added a lot of the parts that you saw us pick up at the hobby shop, the rings. We've got our nose cone from our torch. We actually managed to locate an actual SD's bullpup rocket, which is the same one they used in the movie. And the original gun was actually a sticker along the side here, which is actually from the original the model itself. So we were lucky enough. The kit came with its own stickers, matching serial numbers and everything, so it adds a little bit of authenticity to it. With this gun, we tried to make it as close as possible without taking too many liberties. It's one of my personal favorite guns, and I know it's one of the sci-fi community's favorite guns as well, so any liberties taken with that, we really kind of would have taken a lot of crap for it. But for the most part, you have to stop yourself from adding too much. Just because you think something should go there, doesn't mean that's what's went there. Of course, everybody thinks they could do it better where they're given the opportunity, but that's not really what this is about. This is really more about, replicating something we all know and love. Everything you see here is pretty much, with the exception of the body, can be bought in a local hardware store, hobby shop, and kind of just cobbled together from other parts. We kind of chose to go with the kit bashing, found object wave approach as opposed to starting from scratch.
This is what Aaron was taking care of. Aaron?
I brought him in pretty much like the end of day 2. He usually works pretty closely with me here in the shop. He's one of my regular guys.
This here is actually 2 mini mag lights and also some air fittings that we cut in half. This is just a block of plastic and it goes on the side just like this. This is the little yellow button that we don't see very often in the film, but it actually goes right here on the side. And that was just made out of a piece of pipe and some yellow paint.
And a lot of people, when they look at stuff like that, they don't realize exactly how many steps it takes, even to just do something as simple as a metal bracket, an aluminum bracket. You have to trace out the bracket, cut it, sand it, drill the holes in it. There's 5 or 6 steps just to get one piece of metal that looks right on the gun. And of course, there's 10 to 15 steps for each individual part of the gun. Now I'm just creating a pad to stick our bracket to. So this piece that I just made is actually epoxy, it's glue.
You're gonna edit out all this fumbling and stuff, right? Don't wash your flight suit with a Sharpie in your pocket.
And that's it. We missing anything? All right, man. I'm gonna turn it over to you and your magic red button.
All right.
I'm pretty stoked about it.
The button that we had, the red button, so I ended up using a cap to a medicine bottle.
You'd think something as simple as a red light up button would be pretty easy to find, and actually it wasn't. One of the other places we went to was Electronic City here in Burbank, that we basically bought every red button that they had just to see if we could cobble the right thing together, and still just couldn't find it. So Tim just pulled out a bunch of kit parts and gels and 9-volt batteries and epoxy tubes and cobbled the whole thing together.
Used a plastic tubing, a little LED light in the back, and this guy is going to go on and hook up like this. That's the red button. And when we're finished with the assembly, that's going to slide into this piece here to where it goes all the way into the gun like this. Whatever you do, don't push the red button.
I'm here with Richard Ryan.
I'm excited, man.
You ready for it?
Let's see it. Let's see it. Nice! Nice job! Can I pick it up?
Absolutely.
Yes! Oh my god, this is so cool. You got a functioning light on the button there, the flamethrower nozzle. Safety first. Always keep a gun pointed in a safe direction as I'm looking straight down the barrel with a rocket pointing at me.
Yeah, the barrel is just basically made out of PVC, just capped. We put some auto body filler in there, just gave it a good paint job. This is just a regular torch. Rod arms came from a hobby store. This is actually a syringe.
It's so funny because I actually thought that was a brass fitting.
No, it's just plastic, just painted up. These are 2 mini Maglite flashlight tubes. These are all just odds and ends that we found around different hardware stores.
Wow.
Even all the way down to the same stickers that are on the actual gun itself.
No way! And then what about the pod shell here and everything?
The pod shell I had carved out of urethane foam.
Yeah.
So we did a really quick sculpt of this, very simple, basic, just with some minor details in it. Took it out, had it vacuum formed, had it turned around in about half a day.
I have to applaud you on that.
Thank you. Well, I owe a lot to my guys. I mean, they're the ones that stayed up with me getting it all done. So without them, it'd probably still be a bunch of parts sitting on the table.
I know 3 days is not a lot of time to do just about anything when it comes to prop making. So I can't believe you guys were able to pull this off in such a short amount of time. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
So, want to see it fire?
No way, this thing doesn't do live fire.
So we want to find out. Got some space out back. We'll go check it out.
All right, let's do it. Now I want to be very careful.
Exactly. I probably should have warned you before you're putting the barrel at your face.
So remember to subscribe and come back next week. We're going to do our first video game weapon from the game Half-Life 2. I think we'll be defying some gravity. Okay, so I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.